A new school year means a fresh start. For families that are looking for a new path to help their child succeed, K-12 could be the perfect fit. K-12 powered schools offer tuition-free, accredited, online public education for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. They know learning isn't one size fits all and will meet your child where they are. K-12 has been a leader in online education for over 25 years. They provide everything a student needs to feel safe, motivated, and thrive in their learning environment. With flexible education options tailored to each child's needs, interests, and goals for the future. K-12's dedicated teachers are trained in virtual instruction and provide real-time support. Plus, students will belong to a vibrant online community with opportunities for extracurricular activities to help them connect with peers and explore interests, all in a setting that works for your family. See how K-12-powered schools can help unlock your child's full potential. Enroll online today at k12.com/FWD. That's the letter K, the number 12.com/FWD. K12.com/FWD.
Welcome back to another very special installment of the Welcome to another special episode of A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. I'm so excited that we've been able to bring some very special podcasts to you throughout the month of February because this is American Heart Month. I've been working with the American Heart Association more recently now since I had my incident last summer, which we don't need to get into again. I think people are getting tired of hearing me talk about my incident, but I'm really happy to have guests come into the studio to share their stories, whether they work with the American Heart Association or they have benefited in some way from the work being done with the American Heart Association. And today I'm welcoming a very special guest to the podcast, and her name is Nora. Welcome, Nora. She's in the 3rd grade. I know you're excited because it got you out of school for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
What are you missing? What classes are you missing right now to record this podcast?
I think social studies and probably math.
Yeah? What's your favorite subject?
Probably social studies.
Social studies. And you're missing your favorite subject to do this. Thank you for that sacrifice. But math, give or take, right? Take it or leave it. Well, I'm excited to have you here, and I really appreciate you being here to share your story. Now, I've got this wonderful little poster that they sent. I printed out a little copy of it because you, Nora, are what they call a heart hero. How did you get to be a heart hero only in the 3rd grade? That's a pretty big deal.
So whenever I was 5, I had to have heart surgery.
You did, because I understand when you were born, you had a heart murmur, right?
Yes.
And you had to wait until you were 5 when you were big enough to have the heart surgery. Do you remember anything about that surgery, what they told you about that?
Not really.
No? You're on a need-to-know basis, right?
Yeah.
But it was a good thing you had a great team of doctors that gave you that surgery. And now that you've had your surgery, you were 5. How old are you now?
8.
So it's been 3 years. So how are you feeling?
Amazing.
But are you able to play and do all the other things that your friends can do?
Yeah.
Is there any time that you have to say, no, I need to sit this one out?
No.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, I know you've learned very early how important it is to keep your heart healthy, right?
Yep.
What do you need to do, if you can tell other kids who might be listening to the podcast or parents who can tell their kids what they need to do to keep their heart healthy?
Monitor your sugar, eat healthy, and exercise.
Well, see, now I feel guilty because what was the first thing I did when you walked in the studio?
Give me candy.
I gave her candy. But I did ask Mom if it was all right. But we are recording this, on Valentine's Day. So it's okay, right? Everything in moderation,
Yeah.
right? Even sugar. So what was the first thing? It was monitor your sugar. So how do you do that?
I try to only have 3 sugars a week.
3 sugars a week? Wow. I thought you were going to say 3 sugars a day. What kind of sugars do you like? Are there good sugars? Are there bad sugars? Or just as long as it's just 3 a week is whatever?
I usually just have chocolates.
Chocolate. Oh, you chose the chocolate bar from my Valentine's stash. And what was the second thing you said? Okay, watch your sugar intake. What was the second thing?
Exercise.
Exercise. I have an aversion to exercise. Do you know what that means? It means I don't like it very much. But I think it's important to look at maybe not exercise as something that you have to do, but if you pick something that's really fun, that it doesn't feel like exercise, right? It's more like
Yeah.
you're playing. So what kind of exercise do you like to get?
Well, I usually go to tumble and just get exercise there or go to cheer.
You do like all the gymnastics, tumbling. Are you like doing all the stunts where they throw you up in the air, or are you a base?
I mean, a base and a back spot.
I was a base. I never got the thrill of being thrown into the air.
I'm really scared of heights, but
Me too.
But then I also can't do that.
Yeah, I understand that. But you still have fun getting to do all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got watching the sugar, we've got exercise, and what was the third thing on the list to do about keeping your heart healthy?
Eat healthy.
What are some of the good things you like to eat? Because I've got 3 kids I have to cook for, and getting them to eat healthy can sometimes be hard. What do you love to eat that's healthy?
So for snacks after school, I usually have rice cake, but then my mom gets healthy Nutella, and then we put chia seeds on it.
Oh, wow, that's an interesting combination. So is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, and what about when it comes time, like for supper time? What do you really like to eat? Because that's the meal that I usually have trouble. What am I going to cook tonight?
My mom usually makes like this broccoli and chicken cheese casserole.
Oh, chicken cheese. I'll have to get her recipe for that. That sounds good. Anything with cheese, right?
Yeah.
All right, so why is it important for kids to know how to start adopting heart-healthy habits in their lives? Why is it important for kids to learn that and not wait until they get to be adults?
It might save their life one day, and you need to have a heart to live.
Now, why do you want to tell your story? It takes a lot of bravery for somebody your age to get out and tell their story in front of people in an audience or on a microphone.
So if like someone else had the like same heart problem as me or something else like that, then they would know how to deal with it easier.
I bet it takes a lot of the scary stuff out of it when they see, look how great you're doing and how healthy you are now, that it's not always a scary thing to have to go through, right?
Yeah.
Now, what has been your experience with the Kids Heart Challenge?
Kids Heart Challenge is an amazing program. Every year they raise thousands of dollars to go to kids in research in the hospital to help get money to help their hearts.
That's wonderful. And you have helped with some of that, getting the word out about raising money.
Yeah.
I understand you did something really cool at school. Every year, when you hit the 100-day mark at school, they didn't do this when I was growing up. I wish they did, where you do fun things to mark the occasion. Like you were saying, like some years you get to dress up like an old person, like you're 100 years old. But you also had a chance to make a special shirt, right?
Yeah.
What was your shirt about?
So my shirt was a big heart, but then it said save 100 hearts.
Save 100 hearts. And what's the best way to save 100 hearts? Is it by raising that money to get the research and putting out the message of heart health?
Yep.
That's really great. Well, real quick before I let Nora go, her mom, Nikki's been sitting here very quietly in the background, but I would like to ask you a question, if you don't mind, Nikki. Can you explain to us a little bit more about this Kids Heart Challenge? I understand there's a fundraiser that's been going on and that Nora's been actually raising quite a bit of money for this. Can you explain? Well, first of all, brag about how much she's raised and what that money is actually going towards.
Yeah, of course. So we have had great support from all of our friends and family. Nora's done a few videos to spread awareness and kind of tell her story. I've shared it on social media, and with that, we have a fundraiser page that we set up for her. And you can do this, reach out to any school-age kid. A lot of them have Kids Heart Challenge in their school, and they raise money to go to the research and the education that Nora was talking about. But Nora, so far in her fundraiser, has raised about $1,400.
Wow.
And this will be the second year that she's raised $1,400, but this year she's trying to get to $2,000, and she's got a couple more days to do that. So we'll see if we can get there. But it's a great cause. She loves doing it. She loves spreading the news and the awareness just to get that money for Kids Heart Challenge.
So proud of you. $1,400. I hope you reach your goal of $2,000. You are going to love Legacy Box. Becoming a parent changes how you look at memories. While we're savoring and saving every moment with our kids, suddenly you start to realize a lot of important memories from our childhood. They're trapped on VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, photo albums, crammed into boxes labeled "Do Not Throw Away" and shoved into an attic. Those are at risk of being destroyed by heat, moisture, disaster, time. And once they're gone, they're gone. That's why you need Legacy
Legacy Box now. They are the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. And the process is so simple. They send you a Legacy Box and you fill it up with old VHS tapes, pictures, film reels, slides, DVDs, whatever you've got. Their team in Tennessee carefully digitizes it all by hand. They send you back the originals plus digital files on the cloud or a thumb drive. Ordering a Legacy Box is one of the best things I've done for my family, because now instead of just telling my kids about that crazy vacation I took to the mountains when I was a kid, I get to show them and relive it with them. And right now, during Legacy Box's Father's Day sale, you can save big while preserving your family's history. Visit legacybox.com/sandwich to get started today. That's legacybox.com/sandwich. It's the little things that make a big difference in how I feel. Now, for me right now, it's about stretching. I didn't realize how stiff I was until I started doing it. I love when I can stretch a little further than before. It makes me feel refreshed when I'm done. And you know, a little makeup refresh can make all the difference too with Thrive Cosmetics, my go-to clean makeup routine year-round. Now, of course, their brilliant eye brightener and Stella champagne is always in my makeup bag. Actually, I need to reorder more. I'm almost out. But it comes in 32 shades, and the Shenna Mint Green Shimmer looks really fun for summer. Their Empower Matte Precision Lipstick Crayon, it's really amazing. It gives you a beautiful color that lasts without feeling dry. They have 18 buildable shades, and I love the Dusty Rose Kaisa color. I think that's how you pronounce it. But the best part, for every product you buy, Thrive donates products and funds to help communities thrive. So far, they've given over $150 million in products and cash to over 600 giving partners. This is beauty with purpose. Amplify your summer look with Thrive Cosmetics. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/sandwich for an exclusive 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/sandwich. You can't scroll your phone for more than 30 seconds without seeing somebody talking about GLP-1s. Maybe you've been close to trying them, but you're not a needle person, or maybe you're looking for a natural alternative. Well, let me introduce you to our podcast sponsor, Veracity. Their Metabolism Ignite, it's a natural plant-based GLP-1 alternative that is doctor recommended and clinically proven to help reduce hunger. Just 2 capsules with breakfast every morning. It's all you need. And one of the first things I noticed was I wasn't thinking about food all day, that food noise you always are constantly battling. Metabolism Ignite has no allergens, no caffeine, no negative side effects, and we love that. It's shown to reduce hunger by 85% and clinically proven to help lose an average of 9 pounds in 90 days. We really love that. Look, this stuff is sold out 10 times for a reason. So before it sells out again, make the switch to GLP-1s the natural way. Head to veracityhealth.co and use sandwich for up to 65% off your order. Once again, that's VERACITY health.co for up to 65% off. Make sure you use our promo code SANDWICH so they know we sent you.
Yeah. You know what? It's a lot, but you can do it. If anybody can do it, I know you can.
Yep. During Kids Heart Challenge, they actually ask all of the students to do something called Finn's Mission. Nora, do you want to tell them what that is?
So Finn's mission is teaches kids how to do CPR if someone had a stroke.
Oh, wow. And so obviously that's named after someone who, Finn, do you know who that person is? The story?
I don't know the full story.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the kids that actually saved someone's life before from doing CPR.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And so you've already done through the whole, have you already been through the training you're in 3rd grade, right?
Yes.
They already done the training where you do the heart compressions and you sing a song in your head while you do it?
Yeah.
What song do you sing in your head?
Fast.
Fast is a song that they created to, I guess, show awareness for when somebody's having a stroke, so you know when they're having a stroke.
Oh, that's right. It spells out FAST.
Yes.
Face. I'm trying to remember what they are. You notice that they're changing their face, their face starts drooping. A is for
Arm.
S is
Speech.
speech. So if they suddenly can't say certain words and they start slurring, that's another sign. And then there's the T.
Time.
Time to act. Call 911 or get help. That's really great. Well, that's important that they're teaching all that in 3rd grade. I love that. I was going to say, if you're doing your heart compressions, are you doing it to staying alive? And you'd probably be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because that's the one. You don't know what I'm talking about.
You'll have to play it for her after.
All right. Well, thank you for being here today. We're going to let you go before we invite in our next guest, but I'm going to get you that
that excuse, so don't go too far, okay?
Yeah.
We also have another special guest in the studio, Jenny Eyer, who's the Vice President of Health Strategies for the North Texas Division of the American Heart Association. So you got to hear our interview with Nora. Didn't she do such a great job?
It was wonderful. I'm so impressed. It was my first time.
Now, Jenny, this isn't your first time behind a microphone.
It's not, but it's going to be one of my favorites.
Okay, I'm so glad to hear that. But we were talking a little bit, because I know asking a third grader to expound on certain topics, is she just, it's just a little bit too much. Can you explain to me before we, get into the rest of the interview, what was that Finn's mission she was referring to?
Absolutely. So Finn is a young third grader who's had 18 heart procedures in his young life. And so he is part of our Kids Heart Challenge, and he encourages kids to learn CPR. And it's a wonderful way to ensure that everyone knows you don't have to be 15 or 18 or 25 or 30 to know CPR. You can be in elementary school and truly save someone's life. And he shares that.
Well, for Finn, it could save his life. Imagine being out on the playground and he has an episode. I don't know what his condition is now, but a little child next to him could save his life. That's mind-blowing, honestly.
Absolutely. And it's really wonderful through this mission. We've heard so many stories about that. I mean, one that we're hearing about regularly is a young boy who took Finn's mission, which is a video you watch and you learn CPR, you learn what song. We love Staying Alive. I'm not sure the third graders of the world know Staying Alive.
To come up with something that like Miley Cyrus does or something.
I know we've got some Taylor Swift songs. We've got a whole list, a whole Spotify list. But it shows people what to do and calling 911 and the steps of hands-only CPR and where to put your hands. And this young boy and his mom watched the video, and then less than a week later, they were in church and someone had a cardiac arrest. And while he didn't do the compressions, he knew to call 911, and he counted the compressions for his mom, and they saved that man's life.
That's amazing. And to have him not panic.
Right.
And to know exactly what to do. I remember one time I took a self-defense class one time, but it, like my ex-husband, who was the karate instructor, he said, you can't just do it one time. It's repetition. It has to become second nature. So when something happens, there is an incident, you know instinctively what to do. And that's just like with the CPR training. When you start them so young as children, that's going to stick with them throughout a lifetime. But as an adult, you should probably get a refresher course. How often?
We would like you to take it as often as you can. With your certification, most of those you take every 2 years. But we teach hands-only CPR. So that is something that you can refresh on annually if you wanted, even more often if you want to. And so, watching a video, making sure you remember the beat that you're supposed to keep it to, and making sure you remember to call 911 because that's a big step. Yeah. And you don't have to sit through a 4 to 6 hour course to do so. Hands-only CPR can be relearned in a much shorter time period. And so it's more easily accessible to everyone.
Yeah, just know it. So it's just like muscle memory. When the emergency strikes, you are ready to spring into action. And who doesn't want to be a hero? I know I do. Haven't had that opportunity yet. My daddy, though, he has performed more Heimlich maneuvers than any person I've ever met. Everywhere he goes, people are choking. I'm like, what's the common denominator here? Jerry Raspberry walks in, everybody's like, whoa.
It's safe to, yes.
Right.
They know there's a hero in their midst.
Well, we were talking to Nora about the Kids Heart Challenge, where we're spreading the message of heart health to children. But in addition to what this program, American Heart Association, is doing with the young people, there is so much more that you are doing in the community that maybe some people aren't even aware of. Can you explain some of the programs that are offered right now and some of the community initiatives?
The AHA knows, and our teams know, we recognize our research shows that about 80% of heart disease can be prevented. And so that is the goal of our health strategies teams across the country, is to address prevention. We don't want anyone to have to face heart disease, and AHA's research has helped to really lengthen the life post a cardiac event, but we want to stop them from happening if we can. And so we are looking at food insecurity. You cannot have a happy, healthy heart if you don't have access to happy, healthy food. And for so many in our communities, they could be a couple of miles away from a grocery store or several bus rides and a mile walk to have to go get groceries. So how can we ensure fresh produce is more easily accessible? We want to talk about hypertension, knowing your numbers. Do you know your blood pressure numbers? Do you know that the range they're supposed to be in? And so making sure people know those numbers. You can't control your blood pressure if you don't know what your blood pressure is. And so making sure that we've got more ways in the community to check your blood pressure, whether it's, being able to check out a blood pressure cuff from your library or checking your blood pressure after you're, reading a book in the library, or if you're at a community center, you have a place to check your blood pressure.
I love those machines where you just walk up in the store and stick your arm in.
Right. They're fun.
Those are fun.
They're very fun. It kind of makes knowing your number a little bit more fun. And so trying to place those machines in places that people might not expect it, and then it triggers a memory to say, oh, I should probably know my numbers. And then tobacco and vaping and looking at how we can address the vaping situation that's happening with our young people. It is out of
control. And some people my mama's age are vaping. I'm like, what is happening? Right. And are they convincing themselves this is a healthier alternative to smoking?
I think it has been seen as this, safe alternative.
And we're seeing people in the hospital from vaping. What can you explain a little bit about that?
Sure, I will try.
Why are people thinking this is healthy?
So I think, it doesn't look, we've heard cigarettes are so bad for us, right? We grew up with so many programs in our schools. And so now when it comes out and you're not smelling it necessarily a bad smell all the time, it's kind of came on fast. With vaping, it took over pretty quickly.
Yes.
I remember, we often talk about how in 2019, you look at statistics and 1 in 20 kids is smoking a traditional cigarette.
Well, then the vaping, they got such fun, fruity flavors.
Exactly.
And it's making it even more enticing.
With all that work we did, now we've got about 1 in 5 kids vaping. And so it's getting the education out there. It's also, addictive. It's seen as this, cigarettes are addictive, but vaping is not. But vape pens still have nicotine in them, and that is highly addictive. And so when you start something that smells so sweet as a strawberry or bubble gum, and you don't think it can be bad for you, but then you can't stop. Right. And so how do we really get that message across? Because it's just a different vehicle for nicotine to make it into our lives. And again, just like cigarettes, once you start, it's hard to stop.
Yeah. It makes sense, the preventive side of things, to prevent things before it becomes a problem. But why aren't we taking that more seriously? There's so much money being put into, fixing the problem after the fact. But where's all the money, going into preventing it, which actually you'd spend a lot less on the front end than you would the back end. But then again, I'm guilty. I didn't really do much more about my heart health than just going for my annual, gynecological visit or whatever. I didn't take my heart health seriously till something happened to me. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, getting them in the school, in the elementary age, that's the key, right?
Yeah, you're starting it young. And I think for so many people, heart disease is a senior problem. Yeah. When you get older, that's when it's going to hit. And, when we talk to our hospital and clinical, collaborators, they're saying, we're seeing things at a much younger age. And I think, we've talked a lot about CPR and just knowing it, but I believe that, everyone watching Monday Night Football and seeing an incredibly healthy young man in Damar Hamlin suffer a cardiac arrest really opened people's eyes to, you don't have to fit this stereotype of an unhealthy human being to have a heart issue. And that's, I think, going to help change the way we think, because right now you have to be unhealthy and not exercise and eat really, really bad. But in all reality, stress is a trigger for heart disease and stroke. And so making sure that you realize when we talk about cardiac arrest, it can happen to anyone at any age. And it can happen to women as much as it can happen to men. And so getting that message out there, again, starting it young, but continuing that.
Yeah, and like in little Nora's case, she was born with a heart murmur. That child didn't do anything. It's just the way, that's the card she was dealt. But fortunately, she's gotten the right medical care and doctors that recognize the problem. So she's doing great. Now, is there anything, I know this is the February being Heart Health Month, heart awareness. We've had guests talking about heart health during pregnancy. We've had a child coming on. Is there any other area we need to focus on during this month? An area we need to really put a microscope on heart health?
Sure. I think it's really the message of that non-stereotype heart disease, that don't put heart disease in a box. You've heard about the impact it can have on children, the impact it can have on pregnant women. It can happen, heart disease can happen to young, otherwise healthy individuals. And so making sure we spread that message that it can happen to anyone, anywhere, and just being aware of the signs and symptoms of a heart attack, knowing those, and being an advocate to someone near you who might be able to help convince you to go to the doctor. We have so many women that we speak to who say, yeah, I don't feel well, but I've got to get my kids to school, or I've got to make lunches, or I've got to be at this meeting. I've got so much going on. We talked to someone who experienced the symptoms of a heart attack as she was about to board a plane on her way home.
I don't have time to have a heart attack.
Exactly.
I got to get home.
I just want to get home.
Right.
And so it's recognizing that heart disease is not going to wait, that we got to act fast and call 911, and that there are a lot of things you can do to help prevent it.
Right.
We have a whole website dedicated to Life's Essential 8, which are 8 steps you can take to living a healthier life and improving your heart health. Some of them are basic. Don't smoke. Check your know your numbers.
Like Nora said, watch your sugar.
Watch your sugar, which I need to do. She has convicted me. I need to do better
3
about that.
times a week. I mean, my gosh, I was so impressed.
And on Valentine's Day, nonetheless, she suggests that. But the other one that I do not do well about, and I think maybe most of us don't, is get sleep, and how sleep plays into that. So just little tidbits that you can do to make sure that you're keeping your heart health at the forefront.
Those 8 things are found on a website. What's the website?
So you can go to heart.org, and then in the search bar, hit Life's Essential 8.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah.
It's Essential 8. And also, like I said, I would always go to, my regular gynecological appointment, but he wasn't checking for my heart health or anything like that. So if you want to look on the preventive side of things, is there certain things you need to ask your doctor when you go for an annual exam to make sure you're covering all the bases when it comes to your heart health?
That's a great question. I think it's really just asking about knowing your blood pressure number. So if your blood pressure is being checked.
I don't think I've ever talked about it on this podcast before, but one day I was walking past the windows going upstairs and I noticed this greasy cooking smell. You know what I mean? It turns out it was our blinds. Something about the sun was breaking them down over the years. And who knows how long they were there before we bought our house. We needed new blinds bad, and that's what led me to 3-Day Blinds. I absolutely loved how easy they made the whole process. They send a professionally trained design consultant to your home. It's a free, no obligation, same-day quote. And they've got thousands of options to fit any budget and style. It's not just blinds. They've got shades, shutters, drapery too. 3-Day Blinds even has those motorized smart blinds that work with Alexa. Those are so cool. They take all the measurements. They handle the installation too. And it's perfect because I'm not handy. And what a difference it's made. This is an upgrade that makes your whole house feel refreshed and polished without having to do a big renovation. Right now, get quality window treatments that fit your budget with 3-Day Blinds. Head to 3dayblinds.com/sandwich for their buy one, get one 50% off deal on custom blinds, shades, and drapery. For a free, no charge, no obligation consultation, just head to 3dayblinds.com/sandwich. One last time, that's buy one, get one 50% off when you head to the 3dayblinds.com/sandwich. Now that I've reached a certain age, I realize how much my sleep affects me and everybody around me. It affects my energy, my mood, my patience. And I've also learned that I don't need to waste a lot on fancy sleep gadgets because one of the best things I've done is upgrade to Boll and Branch sheets. I noticed the difference from night one. They are incredibly soft, so breathable. It's because Boll and Branch's sheets are made with 100% organic cotton that's woven specifically for airflow. Now I don't wake up feeling hot with sheets sticking to my legs anymore. My sheets keep me cool and comfortable all night long. And they've actually gotten softer with every wash. They even did a survey of their customers. 94% of them said the same thing. I love my Boll and Branch sheets, and honestly, I can't imagine ever going back to any other bedding. Sleep cooler this summer with Boll and Branch during their annual summer event. For a limited time, get 20% off site-wide at bollandbranch.com/sandwich with code SANDWICH. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/sandwich. Code SANDWICH to take 20% off. bollandbranch.com/sandwich, code SANDWICH. Exclusions apply. I think everybody's had that moment where they say, I should start my own business. Now, maybe you've got an amazing hot sauce recipe, or you've gotten really great at making candles or jewelry, and all your friends keep telling you you should sell that stuff. Well, what's stopping you? If you've been sitting on a business idea, Shopify makes it easy to make it happen. Everything you need to start selling is included and ready from day one. When your first customer is ready to buy, Shopify checkout helps more people actually complete the purchase. And when they come back, their information's already saved. So checkout is quick and easy. One tap and they're done. Shopify handles all the technical stuff too, the setup and checkout, so you can spend your time growing your business and doing what you actually love. It's no wonder Shopify powers millions of businesses around the world, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to small businesses just getting started like yours. With Shopify, nothing stands between your idea and a real business, so go make it one. Start your free trial at shopify.com/sandwich. That's shopify.com/sandwich. One more time, shopify.com/sandwich.
Make sure we want it, those numbers to be less than 120/80. And talking to your doctor about if you don't feel well, if heart disease runs in your family, opening up that conversation and advocating for yourself. I think that's something we should always do almost in every situation. But
for every podcast we've had, that's come up. It's like, when you go to the doctor, and like for a lot of women, they dismiss it as fatigue, stress, you need more sleep. But that little voice is telling you it's more than that. It's more than that. You have to keep pushing until you get the help you need.
And to your point, Kellie, one of the biggest messages we try to give when we're talking about hands-only CPR is to remember that heart disease impacts women too. Mm-hmm. That oftentimes women might have a cardiac arrest and they don't receive CPR nearly as often as men do. And our survival rates are not as good after
because
cardiac.
of that.
Mm-hmm. Because, they must have they must have been tired, they fainted, they passed out. Cardiac events don't come to the forefront.
Right.
So thinking about it as, your first thought should be that person's unresponsive, they've had a cardiac arrest. Check for breathing, and those things, but know that it's at the forefront. So I think just talking about it, doing what we're doing right now is helping us get the message out that, I know you had a story and people
my
have
story's
heard
not
about
very
it.
exciting, but it's still my story to tell.
Exactly. It's your story. And I think for people to know a name that they know so well and that it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And to just know that.
And to know that heart disease, I think a lot of women don't, it's the number one killer of women.
Right.
And I think we all think it's, because it's been such effective messaging with the Breast Cancer Association and all the pink ribbons, we think, breast cancer must be the number one killer of women. No, it's heart disease. So it's just really important for women especially to take, I think a lot of times if we go to a doctor and they tell us one thing, it's like we don't want to question authority. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We just, as women, we just, we need to kind of, I don't want to say man up, but I don't know how else to say it.
We're going to be advocates. And it's hard to put ourselves first sometimes with all the things that are going on. So just remember that, I think I have 3 young kids, and if something happened to me, my husband's, he could totally handle it. I don't want to say he can't, but it would.
Let's be honest, he can't.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Come on.
He would. It would be hard for everybody, but right. To put myself first means that I'm going to be here for more memories, and thinking through that is pretty impactful when I think about it personally. So, kind of gives me the oomph I need.
Also,
to ask the questions.
if you're a mother to daughters, to show them that how important it is for mom to take care of herself. You're teaching them that lesson as well. And so they like it or not, they are looking at us. My daughter throws things in my face sometimes. I'm like, oh, you were paying attention to that?
I know.
I should have acted better then. Well, Jenny Eyer with the North Texas Division of American Heart Association, thank you for being here today. Is there anything you want to say in closing before I let you go? And do I need to write you an excuse to get back to work like I did for Nora?
I would love an excuse. How cool would that be? No, I thank you for sharing our message. I think just the message of heart disease doesn't have to be a disease of older generations. It's one that's happening right now, unfortunately, to young people everywhere. And take what you have learned today from Nora, her great words, and from me. And we just hope that somebody who's listening might be able to feel a little bit more confident when they're advocating for
themselves.
There's
so much information available at heart.org. It's so easy to remember that, heart.org. Especially make sure you look for the Life's Essential 8. I think that's a very important takeaway for today. And so many other resources there, right? It can give you links to maybe CPR training in your community, any kind of fundraising things that are going on, you'll find.
Absolutely. It's a great place to find a training center for CPR if you're looking for certification. That's
Right.
a great, anything you want to know about a heart, we've got it on there.